Hey y'all, I know y'all haven't seen me in a minute, but I'm back and I'm better. And I just wanted to come and talk to you guys about something I had an epiphany about a couple days ago. Actually, it came through a video. A man had posted a video on social media basically saying that men, like when women support their men financially, and they are, helping them through hard times, when those men get on their feet, they become resentful and hateful of that woman. It makes them feel emasculated when women do that. And that was something that spoke to my soul because that was things that I was experiencing in my relationships with men. And I didn't understand it at first, especially like, for example, my son's father. My son's father, when I met him, he wasn't really working. And I knew he wasn't working. I knew his situation. He had 2 kids prior to me. And, he was trying to create his own businesses so he can get his own form of income going it on his own. Like, he wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I decided to, invest in his businesses. Like I would buy products, I would, give him money to help support, so he could buy equipment or do whatever he needed to do. And I financially supported us. I worked and I took care of our household. When I got pregnant with my son, I still worked. I went to school. I took care of our household. And I understood exactly what that man was saying. Like, I watched my son's father grow like resentment and hatred towards me because I was doing all of these things and I was emasculating him as a man. He felt that he couldn't provide for his family. And, it didn't help that when we did get in disagreements and not because I was overwhelmed and financially burdened with making sure that my family was taken care of, I kind of would, take little jabs at him or, take little slights at him. And that kind of further pushed our relationship to where it is right now. And I didn't understand that I needed to allow him to be a man. And if he wasn't going to step up, I should have moved on. Sometimes you're trying to force people to do things that they're not ready to do. They're not willing to do. They don't want to do. And as a woman, we see the potential in everybody. You see the potential. You're like, if I could just help them get here. And then we fall for the sob stories like, oh, my last baby mama, the last woman I was with, she ain't support me. She ain't. Women, we got to stop doing that. For the right man, it's different. Like, I feel like as women, yeah, we should be able to hold our own because if you are dealing with a man and y'all do, end up getting, serious, y'all get married, y'all have kids, you if anything happens to your partner, you want to know that you can hold your household down, vice versa. I think in that sense, it is important to be able to bring something to the table financially. But I also feel that you cannot support a man. A man has to be able to be a man on his own. And if he's not where he needs to be when you meet him, you need to allow him to get there without your interference. Okay? That's a big thing. We think that when we're there for a man, we hold him down. We the secretary. We the, we help run the businesses. We, financially pour into them. We spiritually pour into them. We mentally, and we forget about ourselves and the things that we need and how we need to cultivate. When those men get to the position that they need to be in, they don't want to deal with you no more because now you reminded them of the time where they had to struggle. You reminded them of the time where they were not man enough to handle it. Real men are not going to feel that way, but the men that have insecurities and have trauma and they're unhealed, they're going to feel a way about you once they get into the position that you help them get into. Once you help build their status up, they're going to look at you and start to resent you and start to be hateful towards you. They're going to do everything they can to sabotage your connection so they can separate themselves from you and say, hey, this is why you see she's too manly, she's too controlling. I didn't have a say. I wasn't able to be a man in my relationship. I wasn't able to. Everything is going to fall back on you. And all you tried to do was pour into them because that's what you thought being a good partner was to pour into them and to help them. If you see that they're down, you need to be a down ass bitch. No. You need to allow that man to get there on his own. If he's not ready when you meet him, you need to take a beeline and go the other way. And when he's ready, he can catch up to you. You need to focus on you. You need to pour that into you. There will be a man that's going to be on your level, ready to love you, ready to financially contribute to what you're trying to do, and ready to build with you, if that man is not prepared to do it. Because if he's unhealed, you're going to be unhealed too. He's going to cause drama and problems in your life too. And I'm saying this as my son is 9 years old. Me and his father separated when he was 2. And that man, because he was mad, he was so angry with me that I remember him sitting there telling me one day, I can't wait for you to be a single mother. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. But then when I separated myself from him, because I was tired of the lying, the cheating, and being put through the ringer for no reason, I thought it was no reason. And because I decided to leave, he decided to even further take his hatred out on me. So, ladies, look out for you. The future that you want to build, there is a man that is already willing, capable, healed, and able to give you what you are looking for and able to match you in those areas. If the man that you are dealing with is not able to do that, do not, and I repeat, do not invest until he invests in himself and he is healed and ready to catch up to where you're at. Okay? And that's that on that. And that doesn't just go for the women, that goes for the men too. Okay? But specifically, when I learned that, that was an epiphany and a learning lesson for me. And it just further let me know how far along I am in my journey of healing and self-love, that I don't have to accept that anymore. If a man is not willing to meet me, where I'm at, if he's not willing to put in the work and the effort and the time, and he's not willing to, build with me, if he's expecting me to build him up, if he's expecting me to, bend my boundaries and bend my rules and help him financially and help support him till he get where he need. No, I'm not doing it. Can't do it. I don't got nothing for you. I'd rather be by myself and figure it out on my own. Because all that time I'm doing investing in you, all you're going to do is turn around and be resentful and hateful towards me, especially if you haven't healed. I'm not going to waste my time with that. Because I'm calm, cool, collective, healing and working on myself and in a state of bliss. And ain't nobody going to come over here and fuck that up for me. All right? That was the learning lesson of the day. Have a great day, guys.